Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, March 18th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Let's get started. First 5 cards in our 5-card spread. May I please have the first card for today? First card coming out. Love to see this. We actually received this earlier this week. I'd like to see this card. We've got a 10 of Wands coming up. What this really reflects is this is a moment that cycles are completing for you right now. There is a period of time, and I will point out, this is a moment of completion after what could feel like a lot of hard work. So this is a big burden, a big task that you've been trying to push forward on. This is starting to reach that moment of completion, of seeing kind of the light at the end of the tunnel to a certain extent, if you will. So we love to see this kind of energy as we start our day. Next card we are receiving in our 5-card spread is coming through right now as Judgment in its reversal. So one of the things that we're also seeing is while you have been dealing with a lot of burdens that have been potentially hard to carry, or a lot of work that you've been doing at this time, there's something about this period right now that's making you really have a reconsideration point, having to look at something that you may have had a very strong opinion on and allow this moment of adjustment. And I will give you some kind of credit here to keep in mind, which is a very important focal point that we're seeing around this point, about understanding that while it may have been something that previously you had a very strong opinion on, you were very much set in your ways about a decision or a course of action, today is also a point of reconsideration and giving yourself the space to acknowledge or understand that it is okay to be able to shift one's opinion based on the external situations or circumstances that you may find yourself in today. So there is some kind of completion of cycle and a necessary readjustment coming from the moment of having that completion of the cycle. Next card we are seeing right now today is a 4 of Swords. So this is also going to be feeling like an energy where, again, you've been carrying this burden for a long time. You've been bearing this weight for a great deal of time. There is this reconsideration point that is causing you to kind of ask where you're going to go from this point forward, and potentially even the desire or need to have a little rest today. If you're feeling a little more winded today, this could be why. This is also potentially talking about some circumstances or situations that you may currently be experiencing that you've been putting a lot of work in, but you are now kind of allowing for some space with the understanding that there is something here, that time may be an asset to you in terms of coming through it and allowing this point of clearance as you move into your new cycle. Next card that we are seeing right now is Ace of Wands. So this is why we're seeing a bit of a pause on some things that have been becoming a little too heavy to carry or a little hard for you to carry. There is a readjustment specifically about letting some things go, because we see here we've got new energy coming towards you right now. This could be new projects, new opportunities, new passions, new communication. All of this new energy that's showing you a lot of experience coming in right now is giving you a point of reconsideration and allowing some things to just be put on hold or to rest as you address some of this new energy coming in. I like this too because we've been getting a lot of Ace energy, considering yesterday's card of the day was also the Ace of Pentacles. Next card we are seeing today is, we have here the 9 of Wands. So when I said communication coming through, I meant communication. We've got the combination right now of the Ace of Wands along with the 8 of Wands. So this is really speaking about the fact that not only is there a lot of opportunity for new projects, new communication, and new passion right now, there's a lot of energy around this in terms of the communication happening today, the plans being set in place. There could be a feeling of a lot of rushing forward in certain things, which is intriguing because that's why you're having to put down some other things that you feel are just like not necessarily worth all the effort at this time, because there are some things that are moving towards you so quickly right now. Let's continue to get clarification on these cards right now. Clarification between this 10 of Wands and its reversed energy combined with the Judgment card in its reversal. So a moment right now of feeling some cycles of completion drawing to a close, things that you've been pushing very hard for, having this moment of completion, having this moment of rest, and also having a point of reconsideration in the moment of you experiencing this completion. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification is coming right now with Again, this makes a lot of sense from what we're seeing. The Ace of Swords in its reversal. We've got 2 ace cards out for today's spread. Very positive energy. But this is a very intriguing energy that we're seeing here, because what we're really seeing here is this is a moment where, again, with these cycles that are completing, that you've put so much time, effort, and energy into, this point of reconsideration is asking yourself what you need to surrender at this time for a higher sense of victory. This is addressing some of that reconsideration point. There are some burdens right now that you may have been carrying, and that this is the point of completion, because you're really asking yourself, is it necessary to carry this anymore? Or is there a higher degree or a higher level of success to be found in simply letting those those burdens go, letting this be a moment of readjustment as you continue on your path, feeling divinely guided to kind of release that burden, to move into the places that you do not need to kind of fight so hard towards, and allowing the things that are truly meant for you to come in at this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, clarification between this Judgment card in its reversal combined with the 4 of Swords. So a moment of reconsideration, a moment of maybe changing your mind or changing your opinion on something that prior to this point you felt pretty committed on, but also allowing, this is a need and a desire for rest, this easement that we're seeing at the end of a cycle, wanting this pause so that you can reconsider and readjust as necessary based on where you find yourself at this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification is coming right now with a Page of Cups in its reversal. So a lot of this energy is coming through right now simply due to the need and the desire of pulling away from any energy that you feel is not taking things as seriously to the degree that you ideally would like those things taken. We see a lot of activity cards here. You are in a period right now where you are trying to get a lot of things done. You have a lot of directionality coming forward at this time, and it's this driving in direction and this need for rest that is really allowing you to come into a space where you're shunning or pushing away any energy that you feel is not necessarily coming forward in a serious fashion or is potentially trying to play games. This is the reconsideration point. It potentially is towards some energies that you are potentially just walking away from, determining that the work is not, the effort is not necessarily resulting in the desired outcome that you are aspiring for in these situations and circumstances. Continuing to get clarification between the 4 of Swords and this Ace of Wands energy. So a moment right now of rest coming forward, but also new creative opportunities, new creative experiences, new passions, new communications at play, and almost creating this space of rest on certain things so that you can have room for these new energies to come in and allow these changes to occur. May I please have one card to clarify? Whoop. We've got a transverse coming through, and this is a King of Swords in its transverse, the accompanying energy to our card of the day, which was the Queen of Swords. So what we're really seeing here is, and this will feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. That for feminine right now, there is a moment where you are allowing some potential rest or consideration point, but also moving towards certain energies that are coming towards you in a big fashion, specifically because there is masculine energy right now around you that you're maybe kind of not sure where they exist, whether they're kind of standing in their integrity or whether they're not. You're kind of in a midpoint here in terms of determining this energy. And so this is the point where, again, we almost see the feminine is holding back to a certain extent, kind of letting it come towards them, but also being very open to that energy, to be able to like allow themselves the space to draw their own conclusions based on how this energy is going to behave or react over the following days or weeks. While for masculine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this could be feeling like a point of uncertainty or an inability to kind of move in or stand in the power that you are potentially hoping to achieve. There is a need here around the masculine energy to rest, but also a feeling of having a lot of creative power or energy coming through as well. And I feel like it's this ambiguity right now between like the exhaustion point that the masculine energy is potentially feeling in some areas versus the inspiration they're feeling in others that is leaving the masculine maybe having a bit of a harder day today, as there is this kind of moment of uncertainty in terms of what the next step should be. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, clarification between this Ace of Wands energy in combination with the Eight of Wands. So again, a lot of new communication energy coming through, new passions, new opportunities, maybe even a lot of planning or plans for travel coming through right now with these cards. May I please get one card to clarify? Two cards coming out to clarify right now. Wow, we like this energy. We've got here Emperor energy combined with the Four of Pentacles. So this is the reason that the masculine energy is resting in some areas right now, because they are coming into a sense of their own power. That for masculine right now, this is almost a pause point as they build into their own sense of power, their own sense of control, their own desire to give forth in those areas that are giving them this sense of power and authority, specifically as it relates to the creation of new connections, new passions, new possibilities, and even planning or travel or anything around these desires in terms of where they're hoping to go from this point forward. While for feminine energy right now, this is a redirection point of potentially turning away from any kind of masculine energy you do not feel is like standing in their own power or solidity right now. That there is some masculine energy that you're feeling is a bit back and forth, or a bit indeterminate in terms of what they want. And this potentially is some of the energy that you're kind of like holding. You're not necessarily pushing it away entirely. You're just not necessarily activating on it. Why? Because you've got a masculine energy that's coming forward right now towards you in a big fashion, standing in their power, showing you that degree of support, of energetic possibilities, of having that control of oneself, and bringing that positive sense of control and activity to bear in terms of what they're coming forward with at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Clarification between the Ace of Swords energy combined with the Page of Cups. So a moment of surrender right now, of releasing potentially any energy that you feel is around you that is not operating into the degree or level that you would ideally anticipate in terms of seriousness, and a degree of turning away from anything that you are feeling is less serious, more silly, more kind of invested in their own pleasure as opposed to actually getting things done, allowing this to be a surrender point in terms of receiving a point of victory. This could also be a feeling of turning away from yourself in certain aspects, of taking things more seriously, turning away from those things that you feel are kind of a waste of your energy right now because they're not necessarily yielding results, but they're more just based on places of pleasure and enjoyment. May I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Moon card. So this is very intriguing energy because we saw this Moon card come up recently with the card of the day. So this is a moment right now of, again, surrendering away from any energy that you feel is not coming towards you in an authentic fashion, that is potentially more invested in their own interests or their own pleasure, and using this as a moment of degree of really kind of seeing through any kind of falsehoods. You are moving in a place where you are only accepting and permitting absolute forthrightness, absolute honesty, and as a result, you're rejecting any energies that aren't coming towards you in like fashion. And this is that act of surrender that is leading to these points of higher victory, because the higher victory being achieved in these moments is truth, clarity, transparency, all of these being that big win that you have for kind of surrendering those energies that you may feel are being more petty or silly or manipulative or more invested in their own interest as opposed to giving you that truth and honesty. Continuing to get clarification right now between these very intriguing energies of the Page of Cups in its reversal combined with the King of Swords in its transverse. So again, for masculine energy right now, this is a moment of trying to get more serious, trying to move into a place of being more serious, but potentially having some uncertainty as to how to do that at this point, feeling a little bit of uncertainty because you maybe even potentially be feeling pulled between these points of one's own pleasure versus like standing in one's own like strength and integrity right now in terms of planning and the path forward. While for feminine right now, this could be interpreting as an energy that you are associating with a masculine that you're not necessarily sure where they stand, if they're standing in their integrity, and trying to determine if they're, again, kind of serving their just like base interests, or if they're coming through in a very solid, stable fashion in terms of what they are hoping to achieve and having the integrity to hold to it. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Hierophant. The answer to this question is going to lead to the question of commitment, of looking for feminine. This is looking at those energies, trying to determine what their level of commitment is to any kind of bonds they're trying to create with you right now. This is also moving with like a more conventional approach, if you will, and also kind of really kind of listening and trying to get the insight around whether this energy is like ready to kind of take this step to level up with you to a degree, or if they're just going to kind of linger in this like uncertain ambiguity. While for masculine right now, again, this is a moment of potentially feeling a struggle of uncertainty between moving through a maturation point of kind of coming out of a place where you may have been more like silly or moving more towards of your own enjoyment, but trying to get to a degree and level of seriousness in terms of the things that you're doing, where you'll be able to be recognized and seen and heard, but maybe having some ambiguity in terms of how to get to that point right now. Continuing to get clarification right now between this King of Swords in its transverse combined with this very heavy energy of the Emperor upright with the Four of Pentacles in its reversal. So masculine right now, again, still having some uncertainty, but giving yourself this pause, giving yourself this space to really come to stand into your power and feeling this level of power coming back into a certain extent. Moving very much into some much more stable energy with both the Hierophant and the Emperor coming through right now. And also having this desire to give forth from this place. While for feminine, there is some attention right now, potentially even between two different masculine energies. One that you may be feeling more ambiguous or uncertain about in terms of their integrity or intentions, while another is standing very strongly in their power. And and really kind of looking as to what these energies are giving forth to determine which energy you want to potentially align with going forward. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Eight of Cups. So this is a moment, and this would explain some of that 10 of Wands energy that we saw at the beginning of the deck. This is a moment where you are like simply making the choice to walk away from some things. For feminine energy, this is a moment of really looking at certain energies and determining what you're going to walk towards and what you're going to walk away from. A choice being made right now in terms of like using this moment to give you that perception and clarity as it relates to your steps going forward. While for masculine, this is an acceptance or understanding that there may be some things that you need to move away from right now because you are feeling that level of uncertainty and you want to move into those places where you're able to kind of bring your power in and give forth in a very tangible, practical way. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, clarification between these very big energies of the Moon card combined with the Hierophant. So a moment right now of going after the truth, of a lot of leveling up, of coming into a place of higher knowledge, of higher learning, getting more serious on the work that you're doing and the things that you're doing and your perception of what's going on right now, to really try to get to the bottom and to the heart and to see things with absolute clarity. And this is also requiring an investment and a degree of seriousness, getting into deeper commitments, building towards those deeper bonds. May I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with a Four of Wands. So one of the reasons that you're doing this, one of the reasons you're taking these steps right now is while this work is very serious and very difficult, as you do a lot of this internal navigation right now to kind of get to a point of deeper understanding, of feeling like in a way you're an authority in terms of what you're seeing and what you understand. There is a lot of perception here that this is going to lead to a lot of positive outcomes, that there's something about having these areas and also these areas in your life right now and an understanding that the areas right now that are giving you transparency, clarity, honesty, and are moving in a place of integrity, moving in a place of deeper commitment through that honesty. And this is what is going to lead to those positive outcomes that you are moving towards right now. Continuing to get clarification right now between this Hierophant energy combined with the Eight of Cups. So again, having this moment of higher insight, having this desire to move into a place of deeper integrity, deeper understanding, putting a lot of energy into those places of like even a double commitment, a commitment or a recommitment to one's own path of higher learning, higher understanding. And moving away from anything that you feel is a departure from that. Allowing this to be your point of departure as you step away from the options available to you, choosing the ones that are allowing for this higher knowledge, better commitments, deeper understanding, much more committed, serious situations and circumstances coming through. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with a 10 of Pentacles. We've got 2 10 cards here, so a lot of feelings of completion coming up right now. There's simply a moment right now where you're looking at your own life and you're moving away from anything that is causing any sort of chaos. This is a moment of deep investigation into the situations or circumstance that may be causing some kind of chaos in your immediate environment or in your sphere of influence, and simply allowing yourself to rise above, if you will, to allow those higher insights to give you the clarity of purpose, to move with directionality away from those spaces that you may be feeling any kind of disparity or conflict with. Continuing to get clarification between the final 2 cards of today's spread, which is a 4 of Wands combined with a 10 of Pentacles. So this would explain that judgment in its reversal, that choice that needs to be made right now that we started the whole reading with. Having a moment right now between the decision of kind of moving towards those places that you see very positive possible outcomes in, versus an energy that may be currently around you that you may have been experiencing of some chaos, of some disorder in your immediate sphere of influence, in your immediate circles, and trying to determine between these 2 points. Very curious to see what this final card is. The final card for today's spread is the Sun. So this choice is very simple. It almost seems like a given considering we see these cards here. So really this is almost a no-brainer of a decision that you're making right now, which is why we're seeing this point of conclusion. Because really you're asking yourself right now, what are you going to choose? Are you going to go towards the places right now that look like they have the most positive possible bright outcomes for you? Or are you going to kind of stay in those situations or circumstances that are basically shown or proved to you that they only want to kind of create disorder, mayhem, chaos, confusion in your own life? The answer, my friends, is you're going after your own joy today. You are going with vindication and purpose towards those paths that you see that are going to lead to the most positive outcome. And we love to see that as the final card of the day. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now is, oh, there's that Queen again. There's that Queen again. Card of the day is the bottom of the deck. We've got the Queen of Swords coming out again. So this is intriguing that it is the bottom of the deck. It's interesting too because we also have the King of Swords out on the table. So what we're really seeing here is, while we do see that for the feminine energy right now, this is going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but based on what you feel most aligned to. For feminine energy is coming from this point. We see that cycles are closing. We see that the feminine energy is trying to move away from anything that's caused any disorder or chaos in their experience and towards things right now that are standing in their integrity. They're not, and we're also pointing out, I need to point out here, it's not the fact that feminine energy is afraid of masculine energy's power right now. They're only looking for they're looking for positive interpretations of it. And that's requiring the feminine energy to put some boundaries up, right? They're putting some boundaries up around different energy. This is something that the feminine energy is working on right now, but it is feeling like a bit of a struggle point. We see that with the fact that this is the bottom of the deck. So it's something that feminine is kind of learning. It's almost like putting the wheels on the bike as they go. Feminine energy is learning or working very hard to build these boundaries to stand in this strength right now, but it could feel like a bit of a challenge even as they're undergoing it. While for masculine energy right now, we are seeing that a lot of this growth that we're seeing masculine really trying to move into a place of deeper control and deeper integrity. Most likely because there is a manifestation of feminine energy right now that the masculine energy is putting a lot of directionality on, that they can sense has some very strong boundaries up. And that is what is requiring the masculine energy right now to effectively level up, to take things more seriously, because they're approaching, or their focus is on a manifestation of feminine right now that they identify has a lot of these boundaries up, and they understand that they need to move accordingly. That is our daily collective read. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.